Hi everyone, welcome back to Geoguessr Explained. This is Oscar, and today we're playing some more play-along Geoguessr. Links to play are in the description. You can play yourself first, or just choose to watch, and then I'll be explaining exactly how I'm able to get so close, and how you can improve as well. So I'm returning soon, 2 more days, and then the play along will be back to normal, where you guys will be able to click the links for the next episode and then see yourselves in the leaderboard. But for now, still in Melbourne, so let us get this game. And immediately here, this one is not too hard for the country, so let's see if we can get through why this is Argentina. So we have here a fairly flat green landscape. It's hilly, but nothing too crazy. We have white outside lines and then double yellow inside lines. So that double yellow inside lines would indicate Americas and then some other countries around the world as well. And we got a sign set up for right-hand drive here. We've got like an American-style truck as well, which definitely makes sense. This architecture definitely helps as well. But I think the biggest thing here is that we got a yellow single line with the white dashed line next to it. Now, this kind of combination is quite rare around the world. You can see it in Argentina and Uruguay. You can also see it in New Zealand. You used to be able to see it in Finland as well, and you can also see it in Philippines. I think that's basically all the countries where you're likely to see this exact setup. But in this occasion, we can tell because of the black, well, we can I don't actually see the Google cover. We can actually tell because of the landscape and because I guess the sun is probably to the north here. Yeah, sun's more or less north there. That we're going to be in southern hemisphere, and this does not really feel like New Zealand with the kind of vastness of it, with no mountains at all. So yeah, definitely makes sense for somewhere in Uruguay here. And then the big, in Argentina here, and then the big thing is, in Uruguay, they would continue the white dash between the double yellow lines, whereas this is just plain double yellow lines, and that's pretty consistent. So that should just be Argentina. Also, the signpost here isn't thick either. As for where, I'm thinking this might be somewhere around where I've clicked here, just on the way to Cordoba maybe, and it ends up being actually quite near Rio Grande do Sul, which makes sense. So yeah, we miss out on anything too good there. Let's check out what's going on next here, which looks to be somewhere in, okay, let's run through what we've got going on here. So we do have a bunch of cars here. I'm looking for blue strips, and I don't actually see any blue strips. Here's one, so we can probably gather that we're in Europe because we see two blue strips here. We do have language, but I was going to look at some other things first. Architecture definitely help out here as well, and then yeah, okay, I think it actually is time to turn towards language on the polls. So we do have a Hungarian flag here, and it says Magyar something, so that is definitely going to be somewhere in Hungary, just because that is the Hungarian language and flag. Also here, a niche tip that you might not know unless you're kind of more experienced player, and I would not suggest using this unless you're more experienced, but Hungarian signs are often smaller and taller. They're like higher up, and they're a little bit smaller than elsewhere in Europe. Also, then we have these holy poles. A-frame holy poles definitely make sense. For Hungary, as I said, Hungary, Romania, and Poland are the three countries where you're likely to see those in Europe. And this one has a yellow sticker on it, which is more common to see in Romania. Romania is more common to see it painted white at the bottom and to have a yellow sticker. So this actually could have been a difficult round without that. And they are two countries that I frequently mix up, though. They shouldn't be that hard. What else can we say about this? It's relatively hilly, but also not too hilly, which makes sense. It almost looks like yeah, that is a Hungarian flag with the red at the top there as well. And yeah, so I think that's about it. I mean, the holes also go all the way down to the ground here. You can see that the last hole kind of enters the ground, whereas you would never see that in Poland. So that's why it should be Hungary or Romania here. And with the flag, I think we are relatively safe to go. So also, the final thing here is that we had a sign back down. Which way did we have a sign? Yeah, so this sign here would be probably much darker in Romania, whereas this one's more just a silver color in Hungary. And so it was actually, close to Romania. That's why I kind of thought Romania off the bat. But we get two countries in a row, which is good. Okay. Next one here, we're on a dirt road. And once again, we have language, but I'm going to turn away from that just for a second because I think we can get the country without the language here. So yeah, dirt, white road with a very flat landscape and plenty of trees. Definitely makes sense for Baltics here. I really do think that's where we are. Baltics, also particularly Estonia and Lithuania, use square concrete poles like you would see in Russia and Ukraine. So that's definitely useful. They have the Soviet-style poles there. Also, white flowers is very Baltic, maybe particularly Estonian, although I don't really think this is Estonia, although it could be. We'll find out soon, I guess. Yeah, that pole top feels a bit Estonian. So, yeah, then the difference is pole tops here. So, this one really reminded me, this kind of small little trident thing reminded me of somewhere in Lithuania. Lithuania often is just like kind of more open, and then also like has like small metal rods at the top, and often many, like this pole here. And we'll come back to this sign here, because this trident here, the one that's a bit lower set down, it's a kind of a true trident. That one definitely reminds me more of Estonia, and the white flowers do too. So now I want to read this sign and see if we can actually get it based on this. I don't see anything that makes me sure it's one way or the other, although this word here feels probably more Lithuanian, I think. So yeah, I would say this one's just bait. This definitely looks more Estonian, but I think this word here reminds me of more Lithuanian, as far as I could tell. Although this word could be more Estonian. So yeah, my language skills are not the greatest, I could say that. And so yeah, it is a little hilly. When it's a little, I don't know. This could still be either. I think I'll just go, but yeah, Baltics are particularly difficult. So, let's go in for, yeah, we do have like a hill here. It's interesting. Oh, we have one of these ones. Okay, so the way it works is this should be like angled. Yeah, these are kind of difficult to describe, but this one, it means it shouldn't be in Latvia, I believe. So Latvia would run along with the road, and then Estonia would be at a 90-degree angle, and then Lithuania would be at a 45-degree angle. This one looks like it's 90-degree or 45-degree, but it's really hard to tell which. I still think this could be either. I would feel a bit silly if I got this wrong, but yeah. I mean, the other thing you can do is if you see a particular letter and you want to go search for it, I could look for an I with a hook at the bottom here. I don't think I will do that on this occasion, but yeah, suffice to say, you can do that. So I think I'll just go for Lithuania here like I thought it was, and it is Lithuania, which is very good. Now I'd say hills more so this side and this side, not in this kind of central part is quite flat. So, you know, let's head into the next round here and see what's going on. Okay. Should have taken a bigger drink before I started filming, but that's okay. Here we go with another one of these black backs of the signs that we've been talking about in the videos recently. So we have yellow inside lines here, white outside lines, and concrete poles. I mean, you can't really see that well, but you can see it doesn't look like a wooden shape. It's more like wide at the bottom, thin at the top, in the way that you would see on a concrete pole. Here's one. You can definitely see that's concrete. Yeah. So, red soil as well. So yeah, yellow's indicating this part of the world, probably, maybe could still be Africa or something like that, or Asia. But yellow's indicating that part of the world, then red soil in this part of the world, definitely leaning towards Brazil. Of course, there are plenty of other places where you can see it, but that is the most likely. And then to cap it off, we got the black back of the sign, which is just most common in Brazil as well. But of course, Brazil's a huge country, and so far in the series, we've done a good job of region guessing it, but this one, I would say, is a little harder. So let's take a look here at the poles. Kind of got longer insulators here. It's kind of like a rolling hills landscape, which reminds me more of the south, I would say. Although that's not to say that this is definitely southern, because it could still be elsewhere. It does not seem particularly poor. It doesn't seem particularly rich either. Kind of just feels pretty average to me. I'm thinking of like North State, Sao Paulo, Goiás, kind of southern Minas here. That kind of thing would make a lot of sense to me, I think. We don't see any Paraná pines, which you would normally see if you're in the southern three states. So yeah, on a round like this, you would definitely see a Paraná pine at least. So I don't think we're going to be all the way down there. And then we do have sugarcane here as well. So I'm actually leaning north Sao Paulo here for that reason, I think. Because sugarcane, very common in Alagoas up here. Also very common just in some of these southern states. So yeah, that's what I think here. The landscape definitely fits where I've clicked, so I think I'll just go for it here. And it was there indeed. Got the right state. That's very good. Brazil is pretty doable if you can just remember a few things. Well, a lot of things, but if you practice, it will pay off. So yeah. Okay, next one here. I would have thought this was just one where you can just use the language here, but let's take a look around anyway to see if we see anything too useful. So we're driving left-hand side of the road. That's helpful, obviously. What else do we have here? I mean, it's normally pretty obvious based on the Google car as well, but obviously I want to give you guys some tips based on non-Google car clues. Yeah, are there any here? Really, it's the language. We got palms, so we can say it's probably more of a tropical climate. Then we got this Bengali script, which has the line at the top of the language, and yeah, that should just be Bengali here. Now the camera quality is Generation 3, and there's not much Generation 3 at all in India. So even though I can't really tell the difference between just normal Hindi and Bengali, like I know it's Bengali just based on the way the camera looks, and also I mean I think I'll be able to get it anyway, but just based on the vibes. So the question is now, do we go south or north here? Ooh, yeah, we could probably work out what town it is based on that, but basically, I don't... Oh, I found it. Okay, Rangpur. There we go. often, like, I'm tempted to go south when I see palms, just because, you know, that's near the coast, and palms often grow near big bodies of water. But as you can see, Bangladesh has water all through the country. So, you know, yeah. Anyway, we're going to get the good score here, I imagine. Yeah, there we are, 1.9 kilometers away. So 22,000 is not a bad effort there. I could have done better on the Argentina. Everything else I'm more or less happy with. So let me know how you guys did on that one. And let's head into the next one here, which is Improved World. It should be a little bit harder than Diverse World, but you never know. It's all based on the seed as well. Okay, I've got a good tip for you guys on this one for getting the country. Okay. Alright, so this one's full of nice information, I think. So first off, we have wooden poles. Wooden poles with like kind of European architecture, right? This house does not feel very North American. You may be able to see one-off houses in North America that look like that, but if you see 1, 2, 3, 4 red houses, then probably not going to be there. So if we have wooden poles in Europe, well, you can be in Greece. There's plenty in Portugal and France. Then like Ireland, UK, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Latvia use them the most, I would say. So it's definitely kind of a Northern Europe thing to do for whatever reason. Maybe they have more forests to cut down with tall trees that can be turned into poles, but yeah. Then, yeah, as I said, these red houses. As for red houses in Europe, I would say rarely Denmark, and then very commonly Norway, Sweden, and Finland, and maybe rarely Estonia as well. That's pretty much it for red houses. If you can think of any other country that commonly has them, tell me. I guess maybe something Alps may occasionally have them, but if you see this many, then yeah, you're basically guaranteed to be up there. We have birch trees here, so colder climate, that definitely makes sense. This probably helps, but I don't really need it for the country. And then the final nail in the there's 2 nails in the coffin to absolutely say this is the country that it is. Number 1 is this snow pole, which, as you can see probably better on this one, has this tiny little white strip around it at the top. Now this white strip around the top is a Finnish thing. The white strip also exists on Swedish and Norwegian ones, but it's lower down. It's like kind of this far down or something like that. So yeah, just gonna be Finland. And then also we have a white street sign, which is very, very Finnish, although I think they probably use similar ones elsewhere in the in Scandinavia as well. So I would say this is just somewhere central, southern. Not really sure when it comes to Finland region guessing, but let's go for this. And it ends up being pretty decent there. Okay, next one here. Ooh, this one's a little bit more challenging. As I said, this map does provide a good challenge, generally speaking. So we got Generation 4 camera. We have like a eucalyptus plantation here, and we have red dirt. So that's pretty much what we're working with here. Now, I must say I am partial to Brazil here. The reason being that we have the red dirt. That's pretty much all there is to it here. I mean, this eucalyptus plantation, I mean, well, you can see lots of eucalyptus plantations all over Brazil, so that definitely makes sense. And they're kind of spread out. Like, I definitely associate like Mato Grosso with having quite a few, and like Espirito Santo has a number, and then you can see them like around Amapá. So they're really all around the spot. Now Amapá and Acre don't have Generation 4, and Roraima does not have any Generation 4 that's rural either. So we can count out those 3 states, and that already helps us out a bit. It does almost feel a little bit Amazonian, but it's difficult to say, isn't it? I could definitely be partial to like a North Mato Grosso guess here. But then again, I could also just see, something like Bahia or something like that. So this one's definitely more difficult. I think I might go for Mato Grosso here. Also, if you could see the Google car in this round, it would help because some states have more blue car, some states have more white and blue car. But yeah, I don't know here. Let's check out the sun in finality. Yeah, it's northern, so we should be southern hemisphere here. Okay, well, I think I'll go for Mato Grosso. I don't expect to be correct here, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it can still be the other places I mentioned. So let's just find out here. And it ends up being, okay, in Minas Gerais, yeah. So that makes sense. Not terrible, but not great either, I guess. Yeah, this kind of area can have a lot of that as well. Okay, next one here. We are looking at a fairly interesting round here. First thing that comes to mind is that we have a lot of this octagonal or hexagonal pavement, which is very common in some countries rather than others. I would say it's common in southern Brazil. It's common in Ecuador. I feel like Guatemala might use it sometimes. So let's check out what we got going on in the rest of the round. We have white number plates here that are fairly short, a bit of green on that one. So I'm wondering, just given the fact that we have this green and red paint on the bottom of the poles, if this could actually be Guatemala, because my first thought was Ecuador here, but yeah, maybe it is actually Guat. We have this kind of globe here, almost feels a bit Mexican style, so I wonder about Guatemala for that reason too. And I feel like, normally Guatemala is so easy because of the Google car, but without it, this is not an easy round, actually, I would say. So now I'm just looking for anything that's actually more concrete here. It seems like all the number plates are short, whereas in Ecuador you kind of get a combination of longer ones, like European length ones, and then just kind of normal North American style ones. So yeah, and it's a round pole. Yeah, I mean it fits for either country. That. Okay, I think I go for Ecuador for Guatemala here. But still a little bit worried that it could be Ecuador. I think we can remember this green plate with the green on the left for next time. But that's a good thing about playing No Card, No Compass. You have to learn to guess Guatemala a little bit more freely. Now, this could just be a difficult location without any of the long plates I was talking about. This could still be Ecuador. I do consider that. Electricity counter there is interesting, not familiar with it. It's not the Mexican style. That looks more like the Mexican style, so maybe that does make me more confident about Guatemala here. And, okay, we were correct. That's very good. Pleased to get that without the Google car there. So, yeah, pretty much just, it's the Mexican style electricity counters around, and that's not so common elsewhere. Although I got baited the other day, because I saw it in Dominican Republic, and I was playing no moving, panning, or zooming. I accidentally went Mexico on it, so, yeah. Okay, next one here is going to be another one of these Brazils, I assume. Just the fact that we got a red tinge to the road here looks like it's got red soil nearby. We got it's very forested here, very vegetation all the way up to the side of the road. But I actually don't really know where in Brazil is the best shout just yet, I think. We got black back at the sign. Okay, it's definitely Brazil. Yeah, some of these trees almost feel like colder climate, which is really interesting because, but we don't see any Paraná pines, I don't think. Ooh, is that like cactus there, though? No, but it's something almost succulent looking, I think. Okay, well, my first thought was something like Tocantins here, just as a kind of a middle hedge. Tocantins also, a lot of the time has long grass on the side of the road like this, so that would make sense. But I don't really love it. I almost want to go more south here. Goiás? Yeah, it seems a bit dodgy, but Goiás can work here. Again, I might just have to hedge middle again here, because I'm not really sure. I guess, Bahia also possible, but the redness of the dirt reminds me maybe more so of here. I could also see northern states, it could be Ceará, Rio Grande do Norte, but I think it looks a little bit different to that kind of landscape. So, yeah, I mean, Brazil's tough. Let's just see if I'm right about Goiás here, and it ends up being, yeah, just in Minas again. Minas, actually, honestly, guys, if you become more experienced at Brazil, and you don't know where to go, Minas Gerais can be a good option. But it ends up being Uberlandia there. We're not too far away. Not a bad guess, I would say. Okay, so last one of the seed here for today. And we have what is a pretty specific pole top here. So we'll come back to that in a second. Let's take a look around at the rest of the round, though. Policy. Okay, yeah. So we can give a good shout about this round from here. Okay, so we've got snow-capped mountains. That's definitely going to help out. We've got a number plate with a blue strip, and can you see it's got a bit of red on it? Maybe when you were playing, you could see it's got a bit of red on it. Now, for various reasons, that will help us out soon. We've got a round concrete pole here with this detached top. So you see how like the top is like got a triangle between it. This type of pole top is most common in Czechoslovakia, and then also in Albania, and it can be seen in Romania and maybe similar ones in Serbia too. Okay, so with Generation 4 coverage, we know it can't be Albania or Serbia for that reason. Can still be Romania, Czechoslovakia. And then we have this double concrete pole, two like leaning up against each other. That can only be Czechoslovakia. That's actually only those two countries in totality. And then we got the red on the number plate, which should mean Slovakia. And then also like winter coverage, Generation 4, also Slovakia. Now, if you turn this way, you can see this orange and black pole, and that's something you see all over Czechoslovakia as well. So definitely makes sense here. Also, this house sign, red on the outline with the white in the middle, that's definitely also very Slovakian. It would probably just be pure red or pure blue if we were looking at Czechia. So I think I'd just go like central Slovakia here, and yeah, with mountains to the north, that would certainly make sense. Mountains to the south as well, I think we're good here, going in Brezno, and yeah, ends up being in Suchani. So there you go. Not a bad result there. 19,000, a little bit more tough with two Brazils there, so we missed out on the 20,000, maybe for the first time, or at least for the first time in a while. But yeah, not a bad video apart from that. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you learned something as well. Let me know if there's anything you think I could have explained better, or something you'd like to know about from this episode. Happy to answer it in the comments, and I say thank you very much for watching. Till the end, next time, goodbye.